Hi there, welcome to my YouTube channel Chess Access, where I give you access to my chess games, both online as over the board. So this afternoon I played in my local chess club, the 11th round. I was placed 16 out of 36 and played a man, I think he was ranked 23rd or something. But he had a really good start, so he was in the top five, and then he had to play all the really good players, so he tumbled down all the way back. That's what happened. So I had a bad start, so I played a few lower rated players, lower ranked players, which made me uh, go up again. So I was placed ranked number 16 out of 36, and I think we were both kind of equal. I think he plays on lead chess. There's a ranking of 1400. I don't really play on lead chess, but I've been told there's like a 200-300 point difference between chess.com and light chess. So if you're 1400, I think you're 11, 1400, 11, 1200 on chess.com, and I'm 1123. So yeah, it felt like we were about to have a nice game and even chances. So let's have a look what happens. And if you like these videos, please consider subscribing and liking these videos. And if you want, leave a comment if you wish. All right, so let's have a look. So I play with black, and my opponent came out with the e-pawn. And so we're challenging the center. He's attacking the pawn, I'm defending the pawn. He brings out the bishop, maybe going for a fried liver attack. Once again, I know you can bring your knight out and go for a Trexler kind of thing, but I'm not too familiar with it, so to bringing out the bishop, so he can't go there at the moment because it's defended by the by the queen, which gives me time to bring my knight out and castle. So he castles, I bring my knight out, he advances his d-pawn to d3, so I don't want him to come in here and pin my knight to the queen, so just push this pawn. So we have 1 hour and 45 minutes without increments, so that's a lot of time. Mostly it's enough, and so he's just developing. I'm developing. Nothing special going on here just yet. Okay, he didn't even want to castle. He wanted just okay, maybe castle queenside and go in for the attack. Yeah, you could say something for that. So I didn't want to trade on his terms. And I know this was gonna uh, make me. So yeah, the computer doesn't really like it because now obviously I have one move going back here, then one move recapturing, and then another move going back in again. So maybe I should have just left it and take with this pawn. Uh, what did hang on, let me just see what the computer says. So I went there. Oh, he just wanted to take. Okay, yeah, just get rid of all the hassle. And he has, yeah, but I don't really like this when someone has, yes, he has double pawns, but he opens up the file for the rook. I don't really like that. So, but now I've wasted, well, not wasted, but I had three moves to just deal with this situation. So, yeah, you could say something for just taking it. Um, okay, so I'm just doing the same thing, offering him a trade. He comes in with the knight. Um, yes, I didn't want to give up my bishop because obviously you can't take with the knight because then you get into a fork. You're being forked with the bishop as backup, so you're losing material, and you can take with the bishop to prevent that. And if you take with the pawn, you can step away, but then this knight is, if he takes with the bishop, this knight is just defended by a pawn, and you get double pawns, and didn't really want to get into all that kind of stuff, but okay, so he wanted, okay, so maybe next time take, and if he doesn't double the pawns, you can go like this. Yeah, and it's slightly better for me. Okay, yeah, you could say something for that, but this didn't happen. So I went back because I wanted to take the knight, but have this knight defended. So it's maybe a bit on the safe side, but there you have it. So now I take, he takes, and I took some time because I thought he was going to push this pawn here, and then I take, he takes, then we exchange rooks. He grabs, but then I would have to go away with the knight somewhere, and this pawn would be hanging. So I didn't see quite a good way around it. So I decided to, yeah, just advance on my own. Because I knew if he was taking, I could take, and we could exchange, and then eventually I could bring my queen back here again. So the knight would then be free to go, because otherwise, obviously, it'd be pinned to my queen. So that was the whole idea behind this this movement. So now I'm bringing my rook to defend this pawn. If a trade happens, and I also wanted to step out of the line of the fire, out of the pin, because I had this idea of bringing my knight around here. Firstly, later on I saw a bit of a tactic, depending on what the opponent was going to do. But I wanted to go here and then here with my knight, and then maybe go in for a check to sacrifice the bishop for a pawn and then recapture it with the knight. So I'd have two pawns for a knight, but the king side all open. So that was the idea. But then I also noticed that this bishop is kind of trapped. Hasn't got any places to go at the moment. So he took, I took, and then he brought his rook out, which I was actually quite happy with, because obviously now I'm making a move which I wanted to do anyway, but now it seems maybe like a forced move. And obviously I wanted to go here with my knight, and then advance this pawn and trap the bishop. So, and he made the mistake. He did actually see it earlier, but he then didn't see it now anymore. So now I'm trapping his bishop. So we're exchanging some pieces. So I was up and he was really frustrated. And I thought, like, just stay calm and don't make any mistakes, which I will do eventually to make the game even more exciting still. Because now I'm up and I'm happy to trade pawns. And you realize that he's actually losing another pawn. Now I was just thinking, can I take with the knight or with the rook? And I saw that if I take with the knight, this pawn is hanging. Even though maybe with some kind of tactics I could grab this pawn and grab the rook. But yeah, I thought, like, if I take with the rook, I'll take it with a tempo. And this is where I made a mistake. Because I went here. And to be honest, I didn't even see the tactic. So if you don't see the tactic, pause the video and see if you can find it. And if you do, you'll know what happens next. So it's called removing the defender. So this knight is defending the rook. So you can just remove the defender. Yes, I can obviously take back his rook, but he grabs my rook, so he won a knight and a rook, and I won a rook. So the advantage is gone, even though I'm still up 1 point, because I think maybe I'm a little bit more active, and maybe my pawn structure is a little bit better because he's got an isolated pawn here, and obviously this pawn is going to die now. And I did see if he wants to save this knight, say for example, bring his queen out, I still take, he take, and I take and have another pawn. But this didn't happen. Oh, there was actually some mistakes even. But anyway, he didn't go there. So now I'm grabbing his knights and having his pawns double isolated, which is really good. And this actually won me the game. So you know what's gonna happen. But he's got like 3 weak pawns, and I've got 3 strong pawns here, and 2 strong pawns. They're connected. Um, so I was kind of thinking coming in here and with a bit of hope check and grab the rook, but he did see that. But I also saw that if he's going to go there, I can just defend the pawn. Okay. Okay. Computer says it's sometimes better in the end game to activate pieces rather than sometimes even at the cost of a pawn. So he wanted me to go in with the check straight away. Maybe get these 2 pawns or something. I don't know. But I was a bit on the safe side, which is still what I'm doing, trying to be solid and safe. So now yeah, I did consider passing this pawn. Then he'd have a pass pawn, which I didn't really want to. I didn't want. I knew I was kind of ahead because of this pawn structure. I'm actually 2.5 points up. I didn't know that it was that much, but I thought I was somewhat stronger. And I did see if I take this pawn, we're gonna just trade off the rooks also. So I was happy with it. So we're trading the rooks. He's grabbing the pawn. I come in with a check, and then defend this pawn. Stockfish doesn't like it. Yeah, okay. He comes in with a check. I step out of the way and he offers a rook trade, which is a pretty bad decision apparently. He's down 1.3 points now, and it's like 3 points down. And obviously I was very happy to exchange the queens because I'm up and my pawn structure is better. But I did see if I'm going to actively trade, I'll help him undouble his pawns, which I obviously didn't want to do. So I advance my king. Stockfish doesn't like it. He just say, okay, this didn't happen, but Stockfish recommends taking the pawn. Okay, yeah, well then he can advance his pawns, and his pawn structure is a little bit better now. So I didn't want to give him that opportunity. So I just defend, and I thought like if he takes, I'm also coming closer to my opponent with my king. So the king is like an active piece in the end game. So I thought this gets me closer to my opponent's position. So yeah, I'm up 5 points now. So it's a losing game for him. But it still requires some calculation for my part because he comes in for opposition, but he can't enter. And then I had to think like I'm going to push this pawn, or this pawn. And eventually, after some calculation, I saw like if I push this pawn, he's probably going to check me. I step out of the way, and then my opponent is in zugzwang because he can't come in with the king, excuse me. He can't come in with the king, and this pawn is stuck against this pawn. So he either needs to push the pawn and I can take it, or he needs to step back and I can come in. So I thought this is good, and he made the mistake of doing this, even though Stockfish says it's not a mistake, but it's not the best move either. And this gave me the opportunity to step out of the way. My opponent can't really do anything. He either needs to move away with his king or advance this pawn and lose it. So he decides to step away, and I come in, and now my opponent can only go here, 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 or here, or here. So he's going to lose this pawn. Say he goes here, he loses, still can't come in, and then he needs to go back here because this other pawn can't move. I'm grabbing another pawn. But none of this happened because when I got to this position, when I stepped up to f4, my opponent resigned because he saw he was going to lose these pawns he's going to lose all the pawns and I'm going to get a queen and finish up the game. So he resigned. So it was a pretty good game. Saw some nice tactics. Trapped this bishop. Made a mistake of losing a knight because I've removed the defender tactic, which I didn't see, to be honest. And but at the end of all that, I played with 85.9% accuracy, an estimated ranking. Whoa! Wow! Woo! An estimated ranking on chess.com of 2300, which is like 1900, 2000 over the board. ELO FIDE ranking, I think. Wow! Really happy with that. Even with the blunder. So 86% roughly accuracy. Really good over the board. My opponent played with 78 and an estimated rating on chess.com of 1900, which is also pretty good, to be fair. So we played a pretty good game altogether, both of us, and I just, yeah, he made a few minor mistakes, and I didn't after that one knight blunder, but for the rest I was solid and accurate. So, really happy with it. So I climbed to number 12 on the ranking now. Yeah, so downside of climbing higher is that I'm gonna actually face the number 10 players, and they're just too strong for me at the moment. So I'm probably gonna drop down again on the ranking, but that's okay. It's all in the part of the game. Yeah, that's my game of today. So I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know what you think of it if you want, and if not, fine also. And wish you a great day. Until next time. Bye.